We are live, baby. Welcome. Day 20 in a row. And we've had 20 very strong days. We'll go live on Instagram as well. So, 2020 excellent days. We were doing this live stream to promote the conference Intact Global, March 29 to 31. That's a Saturday through a Monday. The final days of this month, baby, and we are absolutely cruising through tickets. So, like I do usually, I'll go through what the conference is about because we want to sell this conference out. And quite honestly, one, we've already got huge numbers, but two, we might actually sell out, which, would be epic, right? I mean, it already is. We have an exceptionally strong local Oregon council, which, we paid his retainer today, right? I mean, he's 100% on board, highly regarded, extremely skilled, and, very well known in the Portland area, Portland legal community. And Portland is pioneering in a lot of human rights causes, and we're very optimistic. It is D-Day, ground zero, baby, which is epic, and I'm very pleased with that. And we're gonna have. I said we had 8 attorney speakers, and now we have 9, but it looks like we're gonna have 10. Right? I mean, this is the legal epicenter of the movement. We are the tip of the spear, baby. And especially for this movement, more so than others, that metaphor has, double entendre, if not more. So we are looking very strong. So again, as Josh Clark says, woot, baby. Yeah. So we're doing this live while there's still daylight here in Los Angeles, which is excellent. John Atkinson says, extra, read all about it. Lawsuit against state of Oregon for anti-FGM law. You know it, right? I've been in touch with a reporter for some major news outlets, right? And he's very interested in the case. And, we'll probably blast this out. I told him it wasn't exclusive. I said, I might send him the filing a couple days before because it's quite formidable. It takes a while to get through, but yeah, this is a story for everyone, and it's a story that even if you don't want to know about it, you will, because it's going to change our society, right? Because there will come a point in our evolution as a society and as a species where we stop mutilating our infants at birth. And I know that unfortunately, when I was born, and a lot of people watching this, and most American men, we were not born in that time, but our children, the children that will come after us, they will. This movement is for them. It is not for us, right? And we're going to prevail, and the goal is to do it in as short a time period as possible, right? Because the longer we go, the more children are maimed. And it's just so easily avoidable, and it's so obviously harmful and wrong on so many levels to cut off parts of a child's body at birth. So this let's say series of daily live streams is done not exclusively, but primarily to promote the conference March 29 to 31 attendance tickets. So what we're going to do is we are going to do a quick, we're going to run through actually how do we get a ticket, what is going on. And, you should get your ticket now because there's about 10 tickets left. And after that, I actually have to talk with the conference and say, how should I say, how do we fit more people, right? So thank you, Osha Birth. Yeah, there's a slightly different setup today. But yeah, am I in focus? I can't tell. You let me know. This is supposed to be autofocus, but I don't, I set it up kind of quickly, and then I got a new camera because it broke, but I had insurance and I didn't go through all the menus again because it's like 45 pages. Anyway, so this is the short link to get to the conference ticket, the conference ticketing and info page. This is the long link. You should be able to click this right here. So definitely click this slightly soft focus. Nice. Good. Okay, yeah, not intentional, just kind of by default. We can work on it later if we need to. You let me know, Ocean Birth. But yeah, so this is the clickable link below. And so when you go to that link, what happens is, let's pull that bad boy up over here. You can see the conference details. And if I share my screen, which I can do with this nifty software, you go to that ticketing page and you will come to Intact Global's conference landing page, right? Anyway, so yeah, this is the 2025 Intact Global Conference. It'll be held March 29 to 31 of, this month, this year, baby. It's coming up. It's 16 days away. And it's going to be an incredible success because we've already sold out. We've got extremely, extremely strong local counsel and extremely strong complaint. It is very timely. And probably the reason this cause has taken so long to succeed is there hasn't really been an organized legal, resistance, so to speak. Well, you're looking at it, baby, right? But no, I've got an incredible team of lawyers who are with me on this. And I'm not just talking about the 10 lawyers, 10, you count them, baby, who are speaking Intact litigators at this conference, right? We're going to scale this up big time. And if you guys support financially Intact Global, we'll hire more law firms to sue more states, right? Because this lawsuit, when it is published, people are going to say, whoa, whoa, this is a very strong, compelling, constitutionally concise and coherent and correct argument. And if you want to be a plaintiff in a different state, you reach out to Intact Global. We'll partner you with a local law firm and we'll sue your state. A big part of that is we need the financial support for Intact Global, though, right? Because if you donate to Intact Global, we will connect plaintiffs and lawyers to do this impact litigation. And right now, my law firm with Peter Adler and our local council, Oregon Council, we're going to be filing in Oregon, right? But we don't necessarily want to, nor do we have the capacity to sue 10 or more states at once. We could probably sue 2 or 3, but if we raise significant resources, internet, I'm counting on you that we could sue practically, every state in the union. That is like a really conceivable outcome from these efforts. So yeah, anyway, this is the conference page, and it will be, or should I say, it will be a historical event as we launch our first constitutional challenge, right? We're going to end with a press conference. We're going to talk about our plan as to how do we scale this up, like I just mentioned, to end the genital cutting of children. And how do we work together to, for a definite victory on this front? Because this is definitely, this is going to be a battle for our children's rights, but we're all in, baby, and we're going to prevail. So anyway, this is where you buy tickets, where it says buy early bird tickets or buy tickets now. I implore you, if you're thinking of coming, buy a ticket now because there's only 10 tickets left. After that, I'm not even sure if the venue can even seat more people. We've actually priced the tickets a little below what they cost with catering, but that's just because we want you there. And so if you click that button, you go to Ticket Tailor. It's this page right here. You click select tickets. And, the lawsuit announcement, that's free. It's Monday in the Courthouse Square. You should definitely join. But this, the conference tickets is really what we're trying to sell out. We only have 10 left, right? There are 10 remaining. Unfortunately, the Founders Dinner is sold out. So despite me wanting to bring many, many people there, it's like, look, people paid $300 for a seat at that table. And they've got max capacity and we're at it, right? So we're hoping and I expect the conference to sell out. We got 10 tickets left. We're expecting about 60 attendees now. It's going to be an excellent showing. We're really, really pleased. I mean, this is great. It's not like Portland is central to the Intactivist movement, but it will be soon, baby, right? So, buy 1 ticket, buy 2 tickets, 1 for you and your friend. You click next. You fill in your info here. Right? I have a little 1 password that fills it in automatically. And then you click next, and then you fill in your payment info. And again, I actually will fill it in automatically, but I have a ticket. So yeah, you do that and you click pay and you're in. We've got your info and you're ready to go. And so going back to the actual, like, what is the conference? What are we doing there? Well, it's going to end on Monday, March 31st. And we're going to have a press conference in the Courtyard Square. And we have our permit pending. We're talking with the director of that square to set it up. But there's the Courthouse Square, excuse me, in Portland. But the actual conference itself, the general admission, what that $200 ticket gets you, you could join leading lawyers. There's going to be 10 lawyers, leading lawyers, activists, thought leaders. We're going to have 2 full days of engaging presentations. We're going to have networking and strategic planning. So the purpose of this is not to talk about, how bad is circumcision? We know it is genital mutilation and harms children, right? We're not like there to state the obvious. The sky is blue and, gravity keeps us on the earth. No, and mutilating your infant is bad, right? No, we're saying, okay, how do we stop it? We have this deeply entrenched cultural genital cutting, but that let's say cultural inertia is big time swinging in the intactivist favor. It is no longer cool to circumcise or cut your child, right? It's a mark of ignorance, and those rates are declining rapidly. And how do we take advantage of that, right? This is not going to be a steady; it's going to be an exponential decline, and we're going to be on top of that. And how do we do that? And that's the purpose of this weekend. It's going to be at the storied Sentinel Hotel. It really is, though. It's unique. It's got great culture and history. It's very classy. I went up to Portland from Los Angeles, got in a plane, checked out over 10 different venues. We landed on this one. We're very confident in that choice. This is the Sentinel right here. And Jake's Grill, which is a boutique kind of great restaurant. They actually do all the catering. It's like the best hotel catering, certainly in the city, and probably most cities. So the food is amazing as well. And the ticket comes with 2 catered lunches. And the entrees are actually excellent. The basics are chicken, salmon, and some acorn squash vegetarian dish, but they all sound great. They all have great extras, and they have very fancy stuff that I have difficulty pronouncing. But yeah, and then, it's just a beautiful, beautiful venue. There's a reason we picked it, and the rooms are nice too. But yeah, so this is the Sentinel Hotel where we're hosting it. And yeah, so I'll be giving some talks on the state of the union, the state of the movement, other board members, and leading intactivist lawyers and thought leaders. And so here is the lineup. So it's going to start Saturday morning. Doors open at 8 a.m. So, say hi to old friends, to new friends. We'll have coffee throughout the day because, don't worry, I'm organizing the event. So there'll be plenty of coffee. But I'll give a talk in the beginning. Our treasurer will talk about, okay, it's have these goals and aspirations, and we're making it happen, right? And the directors and myself and my firm and co-counsel Peter Adler and others, we floated a lot of capital, whether that be in human resources or actual money, to make this happen. But if we want to scale this up big time, internet, we need your support, right? $100 a month goes a very, very long way. 100 professionals giving $100 a month, we could sustain this nonprofit and really kind of get it going. If we had more than that, well, then we can scale it up, appropriately. But anyway, so Joe's going to talk about fundraising. How do we make this happen? Shay, who I had lunch with today, good friend of mine, also a neighbor, same zip code. He's going to talk about, okay, how do we get, because this is a movement that's not even bipartisan. It is nonpartisan. It's not a political issue. It's a human issue. Like, do we want to protect our children or not? Right. And there's been other causes where people have come together across vast different sides of the political spectrum and worked together towards a common goal. And that is the purpose. That is the realignment of the intactivist movement. This is not a left or right or any type of political movement. This is just reconnecting with our fundamental humanity and obligation to protect our children and infants, right? And part of that is to literally not sever their body parts at birth. That seems like pretty basic and fundamental. And the fact that we still have to be here is like, it's like a parody of society. Idiocracy was a good movie that a society who literally routinely cuts off parts of their children's genitals would fall in there. But we're gonna address that real quick, right? And that's the purpose of this litigation and the conference. But Shay's going to talk about how do we build broad coalitions, and Will Wong, another good friend of mine and board member, he's going to talk about, okay, what's it actually look like in practice? Because we've already found very, very skilled, dedicated activists in Portland alone, and also in Oregon more generally. But yeah, so but how do we actually like onboard these professionals and volunteers in an intelligent way so we can scale this up big time? Then we'll have a board, so you can ask the Intact Global Board of Directors whatever you need. We'll break for lunch, and you'll get a Google form. You'll pick whatever it is you want. Then we have the Intact Coalition. Then we have the Intact Coalition right afterwards. So different members from different nonprofits who we work together with. We'll start with Tony Lasquato from Intaction, right? And he's going to give a talk on, what his organization does, which is very important. Had a big win recently, although we're still, let's say, in the middle of the New Hampshire bill defunding circumcision. Still sacrificial. Oh, it's so crazy. Anyway, can you send me a link here? Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna have Tony Lasquato, and then we're gonna have Tim Hammond, the executive director of GalDef. And he's going to talk about, okay, what's the work that GalDef does? Intact Global, GalDef, we have very similar aims, right? Intact Global is focused on the equal protection of all children litigation. GalDef is very supportive, and not just in word, but has pledged $10,000. So thank you, GalDef, for that. But also, they support a broad range of different type of legal initiatives, because it's not just a violation of constitutional guarantees of equal protection under the law on the basis of sex that circumcision implicates, right? There's actually, you have the right to bodily integrity. You have the right to trust your doctor and ensure that your doctor only performs medically necessary surgeries. And, you have other rights as well. And so Tim Hammond will talk about the different types of educational and legal initiatives GalDef is pursuing. That we have Doctors Opposing Circumcision, who also is very supportive of the lawsuit and has also pledged $10,000. So great. Thank you, Doctors Opposing Circumcision. But John Geishiker is their executive director, and he's going to talk about DOC's work, right? And that's critical because some people have the mistaken belief that circumcision, medically unnecessary genital cutting, is a medical procedure, but actually it's a cultural and cosmetic one, and it harms infants. It doesn't promote health. So, the vast majority of doctors in the world do not circumcise children. It is a total aberration, right? We're total outliers. It is totally bizarre and insane. You have the vast majority of the world who doesn't mutilate their children. You have like good chunk of religious people who do it because their God demands that you sacrifice the blood of their penis to their, which is just, it's lunacy on its face. Come on, right? You have to respect that. No, right? And, religion doesn't get a free pass to do whatever they want. Now, this lawsuit has nothing to do with religious genital cutting, because that implicates different provisions of constitutional protections. Not saying that it is constitutionally protected, but that's a question for another day. But then there's the vast majority of the world who doesn't circumcise. And so it's really important that we have hundreds of medical professionals in DOC to kind of remind people, look, we don't, this is not something that our Hippocratic Oath even permits us to do, and our fiduciary duties to the patient, you name it. We have Carrie Cantrell, who, another very smart young activist, who will talk about the intersex interest in intactivism, right? Because yes, we want to protect baby girls from genital cutting. We have statutes, federal and state, that do that, which is great. We must protect baby boys from genital cutting, which is being, wholesale mutilated every day. But intersex children are in that category of baby boys where they have no protections. They don't enjoy protections, and they're left to, to be sliced up at birth for no medical reason. So Carrie's going to speak to that. And then Michael Abanika, who is a good friend of mine from Uganda. He's a human rights attorney there. He's got a coalition of human rights attorneys and activists in Africa. And we want to start building this intercontinental coalition of activists and attorneys who can really work together and help each other out, right? Because we want to help children all over the world. I mean, obviously, we're focused in the United States because that's where we are, and that's where our primary scope of influence is, but making these connections with Michael Abanika and others is going to be really helpful long term. And so just taking a short break, this is the link to my play, as Ocean Birth said. Alex Vital, Eric the Legend. It's the 20th day. Yeah. You know, when I say I'm going to do something, I'll do it. Might take a little longer, but now we're going full steam. You know, I've got no strings on me anymore. Right? We run the very successful Klopper Law Firm over here. Dylan says circumcision's the only surgery with no follow-up, and it's time we wake up some sleeping giants like Joe Rogan, Eric. It is time. Yeah, I'd love for Joe Rogan to come out and support. I think, you know, he gets a free ticket if he shows up, right? Maddie, great to see you again. I know you're a consistent stream viewer. Yawn God, you as well. +1, better than +0. So love the camaraderie. So anyways, this is the clickable link. Oh, and on Saturday night, we're going to have a great dinner, right? I could do dinner or reception. Dinner is actually more expensive, but nicer. And so I went all out with the nicest buffet that the Sentinel has, which also is the nicest hotel, in my opinion, in Portland. You could say, oh, well, the Ritz-Carlton, well, it's more expensive, right? Doesn't mean it's nicest. So yeah, we're going to have a great dinner as well. And the ticket cost covers that. It's an excellent buffet. I mean, this food is outrageous. I'm getting hungry just talking about it. And I always do. I talk about it like right before dinner. I'm like, God damn, am I hungry? So Sunday, again, we'll open the doors at 8, but we'll start at 10. You know, we're not getting militant here with the timing. And then Martin Naveau is going to talk. We have to update his title. So if you're watching, Martin, I apologize. We will update it. You know, our web guy runs a busy company. And so do I. And so, you know, we probably update the website once a week or so. But he's going to talk about tried and true methods that really reduce the rates of circumcision, like actually work, right? Defunding is a big one. You know, you're not going to cut or mutilate your kid if you have to pay for it, right? That's the rule of thumb. And so, and then we're going to hear from Zena Spar, who's going to talk about the difference in state and federal litigation. And I'm going to make a note to myself right now to follow up with Zenas. I have a note somewhere. Here it is. And then we are going to hear from Peter Adler, and he's going to talk about different causes of action. And he wrote a book called Circumcision as a Fraud and the Coming Legal Reckoning. And we're very lucky that he is co-counsel with me and our local counsel in Oregon. And he's going to talk about different causes of action you may have, like battery, assault, breach of fiduciary duty, constructive fraud, meaning you allege that the physician defrauded you when he circumcised you or your child. And then the physician has to rebut that allegation by showing that the circumcision was medically necessary. The procedure was medically necessary. Now, for the plaintiff, thankfully, circumcision is by definition medically unnecessary. It is a cosmetic procedure. It actually is a cosmetic amputation. And you know, the vast majority of men are not circumcised and are happily intact, right? So, you know, it's all about the money, as Peter would say. But yeah, but that's also a breach of fiduciary duty. So, and he might change his title to Circumcised: How to Sue and Win. And I like that. I think that is good. It's short, it's sweet. As you can see, Peter, there's only a few words space for the title, at least on the website. I think that hits all the marks. So remind me when I update the website, I'll remember. Brad Kane, his working title, The Happy Warrior Philosophy. He's very persuasive and he's very good at messaging, and he's a brilliant litigator. I actually learned how to litigate from him. You know, I've got my own flavor and style, obviously, and that works for me and it works for my clients. But he's a very good litigator in his own right. Runs his own civil litigation firm here. He's going to talk about messaging. Then we'll have a lunch break. So you get chicken, salmon, vegetarian, but they're like really, it's a really well done entrees. And then we'll hear from Deborah Ashagian, and she's going to talk about the dangers of cultural conditioning. So really, how should I say, what it was like growing up in a conservative Jewish community and then realizing as an adult that circumcision is genital mutilation and that your community routinely mutilates its baby boys, and then literally, how should I say, without reason or restraint attacks anyone who may question that, right? Because she's received a lot of criticism, not like physical attack, but criticism, ostracism for trying to protect baby boys in her community. And the reality is it is cultural conditioning can be exceptionally dangerous, especially in the Jewish community. I know I'm a Jewish guy. You can literally be mutilating infants if you are not careful of your cultural conditioning. And that's like one of the most wicked things you can do, right? So there's a lot of work that needs to be done within that community. And whether that be internal pressures like Deborah or external pressures like the weight of the U.S. government, if there's someone in the executive branch who will do something about it, right? So the reality is unapologetic, but the reality is we need to stop cutting up our babies. And even if they're not the first communities to do it, they will at some point stop mutilating their infants. And it's very important to hear from people in the community, like I'm Jewish, Deborah's Jewish, like, okay, how do we communicate with individuals who've been told from an early age that you must mutilate your infant and God has ordained you to do so, right? It's, approaching that with logic is really difficult. And it's almost like a Monty Python skit in its stupidity, but that's where we are. And, us Jews are supposed to be smart. So anyway, that's where we're at, and we look forward to hearing Deborah's talk. And then we have John Silla, good friend of mine. He runs a nonprofit, American Institute of Bisexuality, and he that's funny. I love that quote. I'll say it in a second, Alan. But he's going to talk about, I think, well, one, the inconsistency in the law. So you can't pierce a child's genitals, a minor's genitals in Oregon, but you can totally amputate it. That makes no sense. You can't tattoo a foreskin, but you can sever it entirely. But you could sever the foreskin, then tattoo it and pierce it and probably eat it. And what's the difference, right? I mean, that's gross, but probably that's the state of the law. It makes no sense at all. And as Magnus Flora says on Instagram, I wish I could marry God in heaven and tell him to stop circumcision after our wedding night. That's a great sentiment, right? And then we'll have a panel of lawyers, and then I'm going to give a final talk. It's going to be called The Future of Intactivism. I'm going to update that too. And I'm going to talk about, okay, this is where we are. I've already given that talk. Where are we going and how do we get there? And a lot of it is how much support we get, financial, because if we have the financial resources, I can deploy that financial resources in a way where we are conducting impact litigation in practically every state in the union. I have that capacity, that managerial and capacity and litigation experience, no problem. Really, I can. I can't sue 40 states in the United States, but I certainly could oversee that with the appropriate lawyers in each state. Like we're suing Oregon because Peter Adler and I are doing most of the work at like a charity rates, and our local counsel is helping us out, but he's getting paid for what he's doing. But if we are raising real cash, I could pay law firms like their rates to sue across the nation, right? It'd be epic. 100% down, but it really depends how much we can raise. My law firm could probably sue 2-3 states at once, and then I'd probably have to hire more people and we'd figure it out. But if you really want to scale this up and you want to make this into a national issue, like by the end of the year, we're going to need to be raising like 30 grand a month. I would say probably more. That's like the base. 10 grand a month will like keep us operational, right? 30 grand a month, we can like really start swinging above our weight. And then if we're raising 50, 100 grand a month, we could probably end the genital cutting of children in 2 years. I really do believe that. But as Alan says, hi, everyone. The play is amazing. Total rock star moment. True rock and roll for Harvard, I guess. Totally true. Harvard has absolutely no stones at all. They've got like literally, if you're not within the party line, they lose their shit. And since I was an employee, they could fire me. Students, it's a little harder to kick out. But yeah, and then we're going to end after my talk with the founders dinner, which is unfortunately sold out. Well, I guess it's great, but you can't get a ticket now. But here are the speakers. We got all the headshots here. Will did a phenomenal job. Where's Will? Right here. He did a phenomenal job with the website. So great. Kudos to him. But yeah, and here's where the founders dinner is Sunday night. It's in the Multnomah Whiskey Library, and this is the room that we have. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful venue, great food. So yeah, we look forward to that as well. And that's going to be, and then we're going to end Monday late morning. We're going to have our press conference. We're going to live stream everything. We're going to professionally film everything with 3 videographers. If you're an attendee and you want to get an interview, we'll definitely get your interview as well. and then we are going to, I should say, and then we're good to go. I mean, then we're on the board, right? Into activists, we are fighting the constitutional rights of children to equal protection, which is, it's a winning argument, is what it is. So yeah, that is the extent of where we're going. So we're hitting 30 minutes today. Let's round back with some of the comments. As Oceanburr says, definitely share my lives when you see them. This one, which is wrapping up, but share my play as well. Conference links on your social media, you name it. Let's say you can't attend, but you can still tell your friends who are sympathetic to the movement, look, maybe you can attend. You should attend. I forgot to mention the room block too, which we have. As Josh says, I can't stand when people say we're phobic of religion or culture. We're only fighting for basic human. Exactly. It's a non sequitur. It's like, oh, you Jewish person, you're anti-Semitic because you won't let me mutilate Jewish babies. It's just, it's a non-starter. It's the Moyles who are anti-Semitic, and we have to start using that term accurately. As Greg says, tattoo it, pierce it, and probably eat it. that would be legal. No, it depends what order you do it. If you cut it off first, it's legal. But if you don't, it is child abuse. And the reality is cutting it off is child abuse. And the other stuff is probably too. I mean, depends on the age and the autonomy of the child, right? As Dylan says, don't let them flip the religious rights on you. It's a violation of religious rights. It's not your body. If you're an adult, do WTF you want with your own body. And that's absolutely right. And it's also a violation of the child's right. See, if my religious rights were respected, I wouldn't have signed up for a religion that mutilates infants, right? It's not cool. That's totally nuts. It's not within my value system to mutilate babies, right? And so, if that's in your value system, maybe you shouldn't be in charge. So anyways, as Oceanburr says, circumcision at birth violates freedom of religion, actually, totally. So anyway, that's the live stream for tonight. It's now dark out. But the practice, the Klopper Law Firm's rocking and rolling. This conference is, how should I say, practically maxed out, right? Which is great. We have 16 days to the conference, and we already got pretty much we have all the more tickets than we need for it to be like a great success. But we might sell out, which would be super epic. And then as Magnus Flora said, did you ever have a nose job? It looks so perfect. No, I have not had a nose job. QD says, yay, excited. And Joe Cortez, the anti-Semite accusation is such a cop-out, as if Jewish people are the only people in the world who did this, please. Yeah, well, I mean, Muslims mutilate their children too. They don't always do it as infants though, because there's some ambiguity in their written and text and interpretation, and circumcision is not mentioned in the Quran. So anyway, before I incense an entire religious cohort to try to find me, and I have Mountain somewhere, so I dare you. Right? Hey, Mountain. Hey, come here, buddy. Mountain, touch. He's a sleepy pupster, but I'm going to walk him again later, and he's going to see one of his many girlfriends in the neighborhood. He's like, hey, buddy. Hey, Mountain, dance with me. Come on. Oh, there he is. There's Buddy. Kind of, see, he blends into the night, right? So if you come in here at night, he's like, you could tell he's a large creature, but you can't tell how large. He's got this black brindle coat. So it's quite frightening actually, but he's super friendly if I tell him to be. So anyway, that's where we're going to end it. I appreciate all of your comments, Manigault. All people deserve freedom, justice. We are going to get justice for the children. We're going to get justice for our plaintiffs, and we are going to protect children moving forward. We are on the side of truth and justice, and obviously so. This is not even a gray issue, which makes it really promising. So I appreciate you all. Make sure you get your tickets. Intact Global, March 29 to 31 in Portland, Oregon. I will put up the link on the, I will put up the clickable link. So this is the last time for this live stream. Definitely get your ticket here. And I look forward to meeting you in Portland, Oregon. And I look forward to us starting the beginning of the end for this movement. Because once we sue Oregon, It may be the first state, but it's not the last. So definitely support. Even if you can't make it, become a monthly donor. And I hope to see you in Portland in 16 days. Okay, bye.